I knew I had lighting problems, and it happened quite frequently that the colors on my models didn't look right. I didn't know the reason, and I didn't know that a good friend of mine from down under was suffering from the quality of many of my pics. Harry Houdini tried to explain to me why the olive on my T34 looked brownish on several photos. I didn't understand anything because I only know how to mix paints on a palette but not how to do it with different frequencies of light. Anyway, Harry was suffering that much that he decided to have a brand new cutting mat sent to me. He found a German manufacturer, and within a couple of days I received this huge A2 cutting mat. It's a bit too large for the, well, spare bench I'm working at for the time being, but it's just perfect to place my models on and take proper pics. As soon as I've cleaned up the mess in my hobby room, which I didn't do in the last 12 months, I'll have enough space on my real bench. Thank you very much, Harry. This gift is greatly appreciated. This inbox review was meant to be part of my new update on the Barkas Build, but I decided to do an extra video on this kit. The box art is typical for MasterBox and I like it. The artist works for several companies and it isn't difficult to imagine why. The back of the box shows the instructions, the sprue and the color callout. 5 paint companies are mentioned: Vallejo, Tamiya, Lifecolor, Humbrol and Agama. The instructions are simple, but what could be difficult about figures? The sprue map is important because the parts aren't numbered. This works for a small kit like this one here, but for a tank or truck kit with hundreds of parts it would be a major problem. Then we have a World War II picture of a German tank crew playing cards. This is what MasterBox and other Ukrainian manufacturers often do. Find a nice pic of actual soldiers at rest and make a realistic looking kit of the scene. I like that very much because it's easier to visualize the result of the build. Then we have a pic of the kit all built and painted up, and that's also very nice. Now let's take a look at the parts, especially the faces. The folds on the uniforms look really good and the naked arms show nicely detailed muscles. What I don't like about this kit are the molded on playing cards in the figure's hands. The cards that are used in Germany are impossible to paint on these plastic rectangles. Even French or British style cards can't be painted on in a realistic looking way. It would have been much better to add the cards printed on paper. I'll talk about the jerrycans later, because there's something that's hard to understand. The faces all look very nice and they all look different. Maybe the faces of Bronco figures look a little better, but that's a matter of taste. The sprue gates are huge, but not too difficult to remove. The seam lines are clearly visible, but there's no flash. With a little patience they can be removed completely. I'll leave you alone with the pics for a while. And now for the jerrycans. They cannot be used. They are simply wrong because the spout sits in the middle of the jerrycans here. MasterBox molded one half of the spouts on each of the jerrycan parts. If you look at German jerrycans from that perspective, the spout sits on the right hand side. This mistake is really difficult to understand. Even the very old Italeri jerrycans kit has separate spouts so you can glue them in the correct place. That means I'll have to use jerrycans from another kit, but I'm lucky. I've got enough of them in my spare parts box. If you don't, you'll have to buy some to get a proper result. Since I already built these figures, I've come to a conclusion. The build is simple after cleaning up the parts properly. There aren't any huge gaps and the few that are there can easily be filled. I removed the playing cards completely because I'll use ones from paper that I have scaled down. Getting rid of the cards needed cutting and drilling on the figure's hands. That was some extra work MasterBox could have spared me from if they had added playing cards on paper. On the other hand, it's not really annoying, it's just more work. Would I buy that kit again? Yes, I definitely would. Would I recommend buying it? Yes and no. If you're willing to put up with the wrong jerry cans and the molded on playing cards, this is a fantastic kit. If you don't mind removing the cards and use other jerry cans, you love this kit. It's a matter of the expectations the modelers got.